Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel Italy a Place to Love. Okay, let's talk about something a bit light today. And let's talk about this big celebration that is gonna take part very soon. It's only a matter of few days. So, we are gonna talk about Halloween. Yeah! So let's talk about Halloween, okay? So and what is Halloween for me? Let me say, the way I lived this celebration when the last 17 years that I was in Ireland. Okay. Anyway, the feeling of this celebration, what touched me in particular, and also what is Halloween in Ireland, in Italy, what it was Halloween in Italy for me before I went to Ireland, then my experience of Halloween in Ireland, and then my experience about Halloween now, this Halloween coming. Now, where to start? Let me say, from the most important part, and this was Halloween in the 17 years in Ireland, okay? Because that's where I really start feeling the tradition of this celebration. And so, obviously, now the first year when I moved to Ireland, I didn't celebrate it much because I was only new. Anyway, I think I went to a party, but the first year I was in Ireland, I didn't process properly. I think I arrived in September, then it was in October 2008, I only started working. So I was kind of busy. I had to get into the routines, the society, so I didn't catch very well Halloween. I remember it was just a big party in someone's home, something like that. Then, obviously, year by year, I start living the celebration. And then let me say one thing, for example, that because I was working in the retail industry, now we all know that we start feeling Halloween when we go into the shop and we start seeing a lot of treats, a lot of sweets all over the aisles in the shop. So that's the moment we realize. For example, I remember that. Maybe it was already the beginning of September, sometimes 2 months, 2 months and a half before, we were already start preparing and entering in the mood of Halloween celebration, all the decoration, all these things. And so for me was I was a bit amazed because in Italy my experience before Ireland, I never had this kind of preparation. So I will talk later about this. Then let me say that the things that really impressed me a lot during the years that I lived in Ireland, let me say, were mainly three. For the first one, and was the most particular, for example, was the decoration of the houses. I really enjoyed a lot to see how the people were decorating the houses. Some houses were simply unbelievable, incredible. I don't have words to describe the efforts and the passion put by these families. Um, Obviously, they do for the children, and in Ireland there are a lot of children, so it makes sense, for example, to celebrate because there is then the tradition in the evening of the 31st of October that all the children are knocking the door, trick and treats, these kind of things. Everyone is preparing at home some sweets, to give. But let me go back to that there were some houses that were very extremely decorated at a very high level. For example, lights and then monsters, skeletons, these type of things. So that was really impressing me. Then after the first, the second, and the third year, you know what I start really appreciating about Halloween? Now, it's something that maybe I shouldn't say because it's something that I remember also the council and the government was trying to prevent, to avoid, because it was a bit dangerous. And but to be honest, after the first few years when I start entering the mood of the Irish life, to be honest, I was expecting for the bonfires made by the teenagers. I shouldn't say this, but to be honest, I was simply waiting to see these bonfires and then to see, obviously, all these children and teenagers collecting things to burn. Now, unfortunately, children maybe they don't understand much that because they were trying to get whatever it burned, and so even plastic. So we know that if we burn plastic, we are not doing well to the environment. So, but I said to myself, but for one day. But I remember anyway, there were some spectacular bonfires on the 31st evening. That was really really impressing me. Then after a few more years anyway that I started living in, that I was continuing living in Ireland, and I went, that I didn't notice, for example, the first few years was also the fireworks, the amount of fireworks that were exploded during Halloween celebration. So these things were all new to me because, for example, now in Italy there's no tradition to do the bonfires. You will never see any children or teenagers, not for Halloween and nor for any other type of celebration, for example, doing this thing. Then, obviously, in Italy, children population is very low comparing, and you notice once you're, if you ever came to Italy, then you notice that you don't really see children in the streets. So this is a sign of the depopulation, not really depopulation, but the fact that, and not only that the population is not growing, but the fact anyway that there is a lack of children. Now, I'm one of the one who doesn't have children. It's not happening. I'm not making a drama of the fact that I don't have children. If it happens, it's welcome. It never happened. I even trying to see the advantages of not to having children. So anyway, for me, everyone is fine. It's fine who has 6 children, 7 children. I'm happy for him, and I'm also fine. But anyway, in Italy we don't see all these children. But anyway, so the bonfires and then the fireworks, for example. Now, the last few years that I was living in Ireland, let me say the last 10, then I changed area. Also, by the area, you can see less or more, for example, fireworks. But I can compare, for example, the fireworks that I saw in Dublin and in Ireland to the New Year in Italy. So, for example, if you're while, for example, in Ireland during the New Year, I never saw this fireworks explosion. I remember I used to compare the two things, like wow, why they're doing the fireworks now, for example, in Ireland, but why they're doing now on the 1st of November, they do the fireworks. So I was never been able to process properly. Well, for me, the fireworks was a thing that you do the New Year. That's it, stop. Even me, when I was a child, for example, I remember all the month before the New Year, we were starting from the mid of November with the fireworks, and then we were keep increasing and increasing the amount of fireworks till, and the peak of the fireworks celebration was always on the 31st of December. Anyway, the New Year celebration. So it brought me to, anyway, I was in a different country, different tradition, and so anyway, these are the things that impress me much: the house's decoration, the bonfires, the fireworks. Anyway, exploded during the celebration. Um, then anyway, the amount of sweets sold in the shop, I never saw anything like that. I mean, I was simply massive, massive, massive. In half of the shop full of sweets, and we were selling a lot. So huge, huge business also behind this celebration. And so these are the thing. What else I can say? Anyway, and then obviously the parties that you could have had in someone's house or in your own house. For example, I never decorated the house myself because maybe I never felt this tradition that much inside myself, so I was finding a bit, not even a pumpkin. I think I never even bought a pumpkin or decorating. Then I realized that I didn't want to be bothered by the children on that evening. So then I understood that without the decoration out of my house, nobody would have knocked my door, so I could have been totally relaxed. And then, because anyway, I didn't want to have any children, anyone knocking my door on that evening. Maybe I was working the day after, or maybe I just wanted to sleep, or just to, anyway, spending my time. I repeat, I never celebrated that celebration, Halloween, like the Irish people do, or like the American, or like the British, or like the Canadian, or all the Northern European do. I never enter in that mood, even after 17 years. And that's one thing. Then, what else I can say about Halloween? So, my Halloween experience before I moved to Ireland, and my experience, for example, now. Now, let's go to before I moved to Ireland. What Halloween meant to me. So basically, I remember. Oh, okay. Then I forgot the dress that everyone is dressing. Oh gosh, this is one of the biggest part of the celebration of Halloween. Obviously, everyone get dressed. Again, why I found it strange, for example, for me that everyone was getting dressed with this, anyway, any type of funny dress, because in Italy we have carnival, and generally we get dressed for the carnival, and the carnival is taking part in January, February, and March. So it's a celebration that is changing the day. It's before Easter. It's connected with the Fat Tuesday, for example. And so um, I always found even strange, for example, to get dressed for Halloween. I think I never got dressed myself. Um, I don't remember me preparing. Maybe someone put me a bit of makeup for a party, something like that. But I was admiring. I was admiring simply the shops, even selling costumes, and the preparation and the efforts that people put anyway to make the best costume, the top costume, the fanciest one. So I was simply amazed. But as well, again, as the fireworks, I used to connect to the new year, and the dressing, I was connecting to the carnival. So wasn't bringing me in the mood to celebrate, for example, in this way in that day. I always have problems to celebrate in that day. Again, maybe I was already a bit too old. Maybe if I was a bit younger. And let's go back to when I was in Italy. Now, what was Halloween for me was never trick and treat. So, in Italy, now and before, you will never see any children, for example. You will never see any decoration of the house about Halloween. Let me say, you might only find a bit in the retail shop. In the retail shop, yes, you might find, for example, a little section with sweets and, I don't know, skeletons, or sweets with a monster shape, something like that. But that's all you can find, for example, now. But before I moved to Ireland, let me say, for me, Halloween was only one thing: a night out in the club, where we were all going out with just one more reason to go out, let me say. But I never found it like I never got dressed. I never. Maybe there are some people that organize a team, let me say, a night in the club that you should go dressed, but not even in Italy. Sometimes I will say, but with this face, I don't need to get dressed. This is what I used to say in Ireland. I remember. But with this face, why should I get dressed? I go like this. I can always say, I'm a monster. Joking, joking. So then, what else I can say about Halloween? For example, my childhood. Now, in my childhood, and now I'll bring you, I bring you a bit to the Italian tradition, okay? And I had to check even on YouTube, sorry, on Google, because I'm not the kind of person who really celebrate even the Italian traditions. Because, for example, what do in Italy we celebrate the 1st of November? In Italy, the 1st of November is a celebration called All Saints. I don't know if you ever heard, if you are from United States or from Canada. So we have this celebration, uh, and so we Tutti Santi, All Saints. It's a celebration that we commemorate all the saints that it's a Christian anyway celebration, very religious, very extremely religious, so it's one more reason to go to the church. Now, I don't go to the church personally. I cannot say myself I'm a good Christian. Let me say I don't go to the mass on Sunday. Let me say maybe because I've been baptized on the paper I'm Christian, but I'm never been founded by the religion. Let me say. Um, so, and I don't want to spend too much time, but I remember the 1st of November, so okay, maybe it was a reason to not go to school because the school were closed, if I'm not wrong. And then in Italy we also have a celebration that is taking part in the 2nd of November. So we have 1st of November, All Saints, and then the 2nd of November is the date that we celebrate and we remember all the dead people, all the deaths. We call it the Death Day. But in the meaning that we remember, we commemorate the people who passed away in the family. For example, when I was a child, I remember my father was forcing me to go to the cemetery to go to visit my grandfather. And to be honest, as a child, I was finding it very, very boring. Then November is not a season where the weather is warm and you can enjoy. You have to be wrapped. I remember it was cold. So for me, it was never something really enthusiastic where I had to go and celebrate. Actually, everyone was a tiny bit even more sad than normal because okay, today we go there to the cemetery and we remember, and then going to the church with my parents and the mass, um, so and so on. This was Halloween for me. Maybe for this reason I never been properly touched by this celebration. Obviously, what the good part of Halloween in Ireland was the festive way people were celebrating. From this point of view, I can say that yes, I really enjoyed the celebration because anyway, people were happy to celebrate. It was a very, very festive mood. And I took part of this celebration. I mean, I used to love to witness the celebration, not really to be part, like dressing, fireworks, bonfires, sweets, trick and treats, not much, but I was enjoying a lot witnessing. I was enjoying spending maybe 10-15 minutes in front of a house and looking at all the decorations. Yes. So I really enjoyed. Now this is gonna be my first Halloween here in Ireland, in Italy, since I'm back. And I have to say that I see zero zeros. Okay, I'm in a small town. There are few children. I saw that the only thing that they are planning, they're showing a kind of Dracula movie They organize an open cinema, so for the children. I think they're gonna show a movie project on the big screen, um, a Dracula movie, something like this, horror for children. Let me say horror for children. Maybe they will organize some cakes. They try anyway. In Italy, we try to enter in the same mood as in the northern European country, and in particular Ireland. Now, from this point of view, I can say that I think I was lucky because I've been in the country that is taken more seriously and in the best way, let me say, this celebration. Then I don't know in the States. I believe even in the United States, the celebration people are taking part. But I don't know. I think in Ireland is where you have the highest level of celebration of Halloween. Here, I have to say no, this year it's not gonna be the same. I saw in the retail shop a little section anyway with some sweets. I will not celebrate. Maybe my father is gonna call me and say, "Did you go to the cemetery?" Actually, this now that I'm thinking, here there is the cemetery in Montemilone. Actually, and I never been in in 7 months and a half that I've been here to Montemilone. Now there are grandparents, there are great grandparents, great grandparents, great grandparents. They are all here. Let me say, apart someone that is in Torino. Maybe it will be a good reason to go and see, but to be honest, they are all here for me. I mean, all the people who I love and loved, and they're not anymore here. They're in my they're in my blood, they're with me, so they're in my heart, in my feelings. So I will always remember. I don't really have to take part in this type of Italian celebration. The All Saints and the remembrance of all the dead. Okay, my friends, I spent again 20 minutes talking about what is my feelings about Halloween, what is Halloween in Italy, and so on, all my impressions, and so on. I hope I didn't annoy you with my video, and so I'll see you to my next video. From Italy, a place to love, Antonio, to the next video. Bye!